Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend is Mr. Sinister is the focal point of this video. We're going to look at the abilities, we're going to look at some kick-ass suicide-based gameplay, and so many other things. Let's start this video off right. And starting off the video right is introducing you to the character, his bio. Kabam have actually done a pretty good job with putting a bio together for him that encapsulates a small chunk. And there's a lot of depth to this character, from his start off in Britain right the way through to his influence and as well his activities with X-Men. If you want to learn more about the character, go to the link in the description. It'll take you to the Marvel Wikia page. If you want to learn about how he came to fruition in the 19th century to where he is now and what he's up to and what dastardly plans he's up to. That bugger. Let's begin by talking about engineered perfection. Now, this is all about going from fight to fight and kind of building up these kind of passive effects. Unfortunately, most of the fights I've faced off against in order to test this out, it seemed to be 6 champions I'd faced off against. In the particular one that I recorded, it was a case that I was doing 1 tech, 1 mutant, 1 science, 2 skill, and then 1 cosmic. So I wasn't really building up a huge amount. Now this kind of gets me thinking that this champion would be great for stuff like champion clashes, because there's a lot more champions and therefore a lot more opportunity to build up those particular positive effects as we see over there. And in fact, the fight that I was talking about, going up against 2 skill, that would technically mean I would have 1,000 critical rating improvement. So next time Kabam have some sort of clash based event that I could use this guy in, well, you know, there's going to be about 16 fights. Obviously, we can only get 10 max of those passive effects, but still, to build up on those might be really good. But it does mean that you're strictly going to use that champion. Which then leads me to the question, the big question, does that mean that the champion is good unawakened? Yes. Which is great. It's great to have a champion in the game that it doesn't need to be awakened to be good. One cool thing that they've brought from source material into the game is the ability to override things like reverse controls. As we know, not many champions are able to do that when you're going up against an Emma Frost. Ah, crap, reverse controls. So you got to remember it's about swiping forward rather than backwards, because you're in a world of pain if that's the case. Also, we've got able to block unblockable effects. Like that is quite original and it's good to see. Here's where the slight criticism comes in. Yes, there's regeneration. Is it as powerful as I was hoping it was going to be? Sort of. But maybe that's the case of having the signature ability in. When you're going up against certain champions, as you can see, if you're going up against the science-based class, it does improve the regeneration rate. Yeah, that's good. But under a kind of base stat and also based ability type way of thinking, I'd love to have seen a more stronger regeneration, even a point of having persistent charges be about huge regeneration, or not good regeneration, not huge, but good enough from battle to battle. There's 2 pretty amazing things about the champion. The first thing being, if you charge up your heavy attack, you keep it down for 2 seconds, say you stun the enemy, which I do advise, and then it's a case of build up those 2 seconds, you're able to hit in a good amount of damage after that based on critical rate and critical damage. Which if you couple with things like an SP2 or an SP1, and also the SP2 is quite good because it's about reducing down ability accuracy, then it is quite effective. And also balancing the fact if you add in the MODOK synergy, well, the Kingpin and Ultron synergy, but well, we don't really talk about those 2 champions too much, but MODOK is still a fantastic champion. And this one in particular, when the enemy does a special attack, you're then able to power lock for a good amount of time. So 6 seconds and a power lock. That can be the difference between being smashed to bits, especially if we're talking about the idea of going up against a champion like Hyperion, which obviously gets a huge amount of power rate increase. And obviously he's getting power, he's doing specials all the time. So yeah, that is really handy. I don't know what you're thinking, Rich, you've sold this for me as a champion. Yes, he's absolutely fantastic. Well, if you're expecting him to do huge damage, then I don't think this is going to be the champion for you. I think when he reaches 5-star and 6-star, it would be a good champion for that purpose. But if we're looking at doing a huge amount of damage, like your Dominos, like your Corvuses, like your Proxima Midnights, like even your Captain America Infinity War, the answer is no, that is not going to be the case. This champion is all about questing, utility, building, and just staying in the game as long as possible. But there is one key thing that's absolutely amazing that I've got to share with you. And that's the SP1. Why is this so great? Well, you get to swap effects when you've gone up against this champion. Say you've put a load of bleed on him and then he's like done the L1. It's like, okay, well, you're now going to take all that bleed damage yourself. And then you're effectively going, great, I'm gonna be dead in a moment. And what I'm saying is the SP1 is like a built-in Bane in that you get to swap your bad effects onto the enemy, but you're not getting them back. And this is the point where that 700k off an SP1 title and thumbnail now has relevance. So let's talk about that. So the story is I got to talking with Mash Gaming. A link to his channel is in the description below. I strongly suggest to go and subscribe, especially if you're German or German speaking. Fantastic channel. In any case, we got speaking over Discord about the way that suicides interact with this character and how much he can do some huge damage just in the first few seconds or building up to that SP1. If you're not familiar with what suicide masteries are, go to Google, put M.2-2280 suicide masteries and you'll get loads of information. There's stuff on Reddit, someone's done a full kind of document on this. As well, there's so many different, there's Professor Skill on YouTube, he's put together a video on this as well, but it was fantastic to see this huge damage in such a short period of time. Now at this point I really don't know how or if this will actually scale up based on a 5-star or 6-star. It would be my hope that I could pick up a 5-star when this champion goes live and actually give it a go, or maybe even down the line get a 6-star and see if I can actually do a good amount of damage. And how this really worked was utilizing the Mutant Dominion synergy, which plopped on an extra plus 20%. Now trying this out against the Red Hulk, it did change a little bit. Now would I recommend this for any kind of Labyrinth for Legend grinding? Yes and no. Where yes comes into it, if for whatever reason that you have been struck down, say that you've left the enemy champion on about 300k points and you're like, I want to quickly get this battle done because it's frustrating, then I would say it's nice to have him in, providing you're on Suicide Mastery, to go, okay, well, I'm just going to use Mr. Sinister to just get rid of 300k points, just like that. Maybe against Maestro, you want to take 300k points without any worry, then yeah, just do that. But it's completely up to you. Could it be seen as a little bit of a waste? More than likely. Would it mean that the champion is constantly viable as a Suicide Mastery based champion? Kind of, but I'm not a big fan of utilizing a champion that just does that very early amount of huge damage and doesn't see the bigger picture. And that bigger picture being predominantly a questing based champion or a special champion that is used for stuff like clashes. And yeah, if Act 6 for whatever reason has a lot more champions in one given path, then yeah, that'd be great for kind of stacking up that signature ability. But without that signature ability and being unawakened, is there any value? I think so, especially with the SP1 and SP2. Swapping off debuff effects with the enemy, yeah, that's pretty cool, as we've seen. I took him to a little, I thought I'd just test him out in stuff like Variant and see how much points or health points can I take away from the enemy. And it wasn't too bad. But at the same time, that was with Suicide Masteries. But if you want a champion that is able to swap those horrible effects onto the enemy and be utilized for a good amount of content, and also with the SP2 taking down ability accuracy, that's still pretty cool. Also, the heavy charging is pretty nice, but my major criticism is the extent of regeneration. It would have been nice for him to kind of go similar to Deadpool. At certain points he gains back a good amount of health points based on that regeneration or stronger regeneration, because it's all right, it's good, but it's not fantastic off of just a base abilities, and it only requires a signature ability and going up against opponents that are science in order to maximize that rate of regeneration. So yeah, a really good champion in certain doses, but for me, lacked a few things with regeneration and just damage output on the SP2, whereas other champions, as we know, does huge amounts. Also, just to mention, the synergies are actually pretty good as well. Interacting with mutant characters and also Havoc as well, it's kind of good for the love to be the synergies for mutant based characters, so more of that please Kabam in future mutant based releases. That has been the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content. I've probably got a couple more videos of Mr. Sinister coming up fairly soon. If you want to give them a watch, please do. They'll be up on the channel. Make sure you've got post notifications on, and also follow me on social media because YouTube don't put links out through social media anymore. So yeah, catch me on then. Thanks very much for watching. I've been RichTheMan, and put in the comment section what are your thoughts on Mr. Sinister. Do you like him? Do you not? Does he deliver? Does he not? But in any case, I shall give them a read, and we should talk about him in a more up-to-date champion chat. So make sure that you'll subscribe to the channel for more champion chat live streams like we did recently. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.